Okay, we are live again. Welcome to the live stream and to the chat. This is going to be one of those unpopular opinions, um, and we're going to talk about truth. What is truth? I think it's a very big word. People use that word a little bit too much, I feel, and I'm going to explain why I'm saying that. Now. I'm just going to give it a few seconds so that people can join join the chat. Um, you need to subscribe to the channel to join the chat, by the way. I find that most often the trolls and haters, they don't want to subscribe. So it's a good way to get yeah, to solve that problem somewhat, even though we do get some trolls here. So to recap, is that what it's called? Yesterday I did a live stream where I shared my uneducated opinion. Well, not so much opinion, but my thoughts about the situation in with Hamas and Israel. I'm not going to get into that now, um, but I did look at the comments in the comment section, and what I expected was confirmed there. I got comments from people on the side of Israel, let's just call it that, saying that I don't understand, that I need to read the Bible, and all of those same things, that those people always say. And you had people saying that I was taking the side of Israel, and that I should that I don't understand what Israel has done up through the years towards the Palestinians. So basically, very opinionated people who have already taken sides, either supporting Palestine or, well, not Palestine, Hamas, I would say. But that the anti-Israel side. Let's just call it that. So you had those people, and you had the people supporting Israel, and both were accusing me of taking the other side, just because I'm trying to have a nuanced view of the situation. And I said many times in the live stream that I am quite uneducated, as most people are, concerning that situation down there. You really need to spend hours upon hours reading real books in order for you to call yourself educated on the situation in the Middle East. It's very complex. It goes back hundreds and thousands of years. And then you had people saying that, if I didn't mention so already, that I should read the Bible. And if I read the Bible, I would understand, and I would see and understand the truth. And we are going to talk about that claim in this live stream. Not so much the claim that I need to read the Bible to know the truth, but that concept itself, the truth. I think it's a very, very big word, as I said. People should not use it so often, and they should not claim to know the truth so often. Hi there, Jen. As always, good to see you. here in the chat. First of all, a few words about the Bible, and I shouldn't have to say this, but I need to repeat this. The Bible is not a history book. It's a collection of myths, and it serves as the basis and the foundation for Christianity, put simply. Some of those myths are based on historical events, as are many other religious texts and myths. So I find that claim very stupid, and I find that most Christians, they would not make such a claim, um, because it's just silly. It's uneducated and immature to make such a claim. Okay. And as I've said many, many times, you can be a Christian, a Jew, a Muslim, whatever. That's fine. It's your personal choice. And I respect that. But don't come here claiming, first of all, that I haven't read the Bible. I'm a novelist, for God's sake. I read books, you know. Don't make such a claim that you need to read the Bible to know the truth. It's just silly. So don't do that. And here we have one example of one of the idiots. Hakan, he says, "You seem to be really sensitive in regards to Christianity. Have you been mistreated as young?" I have a friend. He makes live streams and videos about this topic. That's a topic that certain people use quite often. No, I'm not sensitive towards Christianity. I don't fucking care. And you can go to hell. So it is time to kick certain people out again. Do we have a moderator here? If the moderators have time, just get rid of the. Oh, sorry. Let's see here. Just get rid of the. We're going to have the preachers here, and we're not going to. I'm going to use timeout so that they can consider their sins. Okay. Now, the truth. First of all, one thing that needs to stop is a recent thing where people will say, and you find that typically in mainstream media, popular culture, they will talk about my truth. Now, if you use the term my truth, it implies that you do not understand what truth is, because there is no my truth. There is a truth, and anything else is not the truth. So the truth might be inconvenient, not what you want it to be. It might be, when you do find truth, it might go against your beliefs. And then you can't start talking about your truth, because that's your beliefs and your opinions. That's not the truth. The truth is objective. It just is. And it's time that people start behaving like adults. It sucks sometimes. I know it's difficult. It's difficult sometimes, but you need to understand that the truth is the truth. It's not you can't have many different truths. Okay. This is important. Now, on YouTube, you will see videos with the title. It's almost a separate niche where people, YouTubers, use the term the truth about, and then some person or a topic, the truth about. And I always think that, wow, here we have a proper expert on this topic or this person, someone who has, well, thank you, Jen. Someone who has spent years studying this topic. Let me just tell you that I'm an historical novelist. I specialize in the Viking Age, and I would never claim that to know the truth about the Vikings, the Viking Age, because the more I study, the more I understand that it's so complex. Um, it's I would never claim to know the truth about the Vikings or the Viking Age. And I find that when I talk with, proper scientists, people who have an actual education in their field, they will not claim to know the truth. And they will be very open towards the fact that things might change as we gain new knowledge and so on. And that's an ongoing process. We're talking a little bit about the scientific process here, actually. Um, and when people claim to know the truth, I kind of get the feeling that they don't know the truth at all. It makes them look silly, makes them look childish, makes them look opinionated, makes them look like the sort of people who will form an opinion before they have properly investigated the topic. Okay? And if you're more than 14 years old, that's not how you should go about anything. Easy. Well, thanks a lot for the donation. That's NT. I don't know what that is, but sounds like a lot. Well, thanks a lot. So now also Philip, yes, I called it attackers from Gaza devils, and I'll stand by that. And it really isn't it's not complicated. If you do what they did, I would call you a devil, no matter how, why, unless they're holding your family hostage with a gun pointed towards their head and they're saying that you have to do these horrible things, but that's not what happened there. You know, I think we all understand that. And yeah, so I'll call them devils because, well, quite frankly, the term devil doesn't mean anything really except out of the Christian mythological concept, but it's a word that kind of describes almost perfectly what I think about those people who did that. And yes, we should look at the whole situation, but we should also be able to call those people who did those things, who slaughtered those innocent people, they're devils. They deserve to be killed. I need to just say that, you know. Now, I'm not actually, I do not support the death sentence, but in a conflict like this, they need to be they need to get rid of those people who did that. Those people that I'm calling devils. Now, but let's get back to the topic here. We should be careful claiming to know the truth. It takes a lot of research to know the truth. And when you do that research, you will probably feel that you do not know the truth. Well, there are some things that are very simple. We know that 2 + 2 = 4, right? But as soon as it gets a little bit more complex, then the truth becomes a very big word. And I wish that people, as I said, would not be would not take so lightly on that word, if you know what I mean. I will make the claim that nobody here now listening to this know the truth about the situation in the Middle East. We know about parts of it. We know some parts that we know for a fact this is true, but the whole picture we don't know the whole picture. We know that those people who kill innocent children are murderers, and we don't really need to. When it comes to those people who did that, we don't need to understand why. Yes, we do need to understand why there is a conflict, but we don't need to understand why they did it. They just need to be dealt with, those people who did that. But anyway, I am going to keep it short now. I just wanted to address this. I'm going to have a look at the chat now. Sure, I'm going to have to get rid of some people. And that's just how it is. The reason why I'm keeping it short today is that we had a storm here in southeastern Norway, and I have to repair something out on my property that the wind broke. So, yeah, Tom is saying, what about the women and children of Gaza who are being slaughtered? I think you should listen to my live stream on replay, the one yesterday, where I addressed that. And what do you think? It's like, Tom, do you think that I don't care about that? I'm just asking, because it kind of feels like that's what you think. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think I don't care? Okay, I'll just scroll down here. Dean, thanks a lot for the donation. That's very kind of you. Very kind of you. Now, okay. Yeah, I mean, just general advice here. Blunt statements concerning a complex situation will come across as a little bit stupid, okay? So keep that in mind, okay? Yeah, well, okay. Now, here's a good we're not going to have comments that are racist here. I'm just not going to accept that, okay? I think you guys, you understand that. I don't like that. I've said it many times. I don't like racism. Now, I'm going to reply to a commentary from Printing Services Incorporated. But before I do that, I want to address Something that I actually forgot. I have also seen comments now to the live stream yesterday. No, and also the video or racist. I have not had that problem before, and I've said many times that I hate racism. I've seen a resurgence, I hope that's the right word, of racism actually coming from the liberal left in the USA, where they have this sickly focus on race. Um, it's just very stupid and sad. Um, but I did see racist, some, not many, but I did see some racist comments. And if you're going to, if that's going to be your approach to this, then you need to ask yourself, where does it end? If you're going to view the world like that, um, where does it end? Um, I can tell you where it ends because some people, they have tried that already. It's been quite a common approach up through world history, actually, where you pick one. I don't even like the, the term race, but they pick one, usually their own. It's funny that, isn't it? And they are superior, right? And because they are superior to other races, then other races must have less rights. They must basically be slaves. That's where you end, or they must be killed. That's and is that where you want to go? Is it? I mean, yeah, it provokes me, so I will leave it. Okay. Yeah, the comment from Printing Services Incorporated. Are you self-sufficient when it comes to energy and water in your off-grid place? If you do have one, no, I don't have an off-grid place. I don't have I have chosen to spend my money in otherwise. But I'm quite self-sufficient where I am actually. Now, yeah, well, my Viking cabin is on my property. It's yeah, it's not. It's funny. There are people who think that I live in a cave in the forest or in my Viking cabin, and I can say that I don't, but they still think I do. Um, yeah, well, Marian is saying racial cultural differences are destroying Sweden. You just did a video. Yes, I know. It isn't about hate. It's about clash. Others who spoke I cannot comment. Well, what you're stating there is obvious, right? But I'm talking about racism, okay, which is different than claiming that. Well, actually, you wrote racial/cultural differences. Racial, again, big word. Do you really, really know what it means? What it implies? But cultural, absolutely. One word, the racial thing, means that there is something in your biology. Um, the cultural is the culture. So, yeah. Okay. Um, let's get back to the main topic here. Now, Yes, Maximus Decimus Meridius says that Norway seems like a relatively clean and unspoiled nation for now. Well, it is, and I think if you compare Norway and Sweden, you will see what a vast difference it makes to have such different approaches towards immigration, because it's been different from Sweden, more restrictive for decades. And I'm not saying that we don't have problems in Norway. We certainly do, and it needs to be dealt with in a better way than what they're doing now. But Sweden is lost. It's so sad. So my peep says my great grandmother was the most racist person on the planet, and I grew up learning not to be like that. Yeah. I think. Yeah, okay, so I'll get a little bit personal here. I have experienced the same from my extended family, and I've called them out for saying things like that, using such words. Well, there's actually only one person in my extended family. I don't tolerate racist slurs at all. I don't. Well, you can say it. Well, I'm not going to. I mean, it's your free choice to use those words. But if you do, I'm going to call you out for it. I am going to do that because I don't like it. I don't like that at all. Um, and that's racism. I guess you know which words I'm talking about. It is. It's racism. And it can't be excused by things like, oh, we always used that word back in the old days. Well, stop doing that then. you know. And at the same time, we need to be able to look at a situation like the situation in Sweden and say that, well, you have, I think, basically second and third, maybe fourth generation immigrants, Muslim background. Um, it's not ethnic Swedes, and we need to be able to talk about that and call it for what it is. That's not racism. That's reality. So those two examples I gave you now it's important, I feel, to be correct about this. And Jeffrey says Europe was Arabic 500 years ago. Not really. I mean, I know what you're referring to. But Europe is, I mean, Scandinavia is Europe. It's never been Arabic. So now, yeah, Marian says calling something into question isn't racist. Hating those of another race for no reason is. Yeah, and again, I don't like the word race, and it's incorrect. And I'll tell you why. I can prove it. Now, because there are very few. Okay, let's put it this way. If you're going to use the word race, you're going to have to do a DNA test of every single person. Okay. And you're going to have to establish standards. How let's say, quote unquote pure race do you need to be defined within that certain race? Like, for instance, I'm Norse, but I'm not 100% Norse. That would be almost impossible to find because my quote unquote race has been mixed with people from the British Islands mainly and Northern Europe for centuries, obviously. If you go to, I know for a fact that if you go to the USA, people who call themselves black there, it's like almost impossible to find someone with 100% African DNA because they've been there for so long. So um, they have mixed with other quote unquote races. So how much of a percentage do you need to have to be within that race? Is it 100%? Then you're going to have to find some tribe in the deep Amazon jungle or something. Um, yes, that's funny. Yes, I've talked about this before. I find it interesting, the DNA thing. I've said that I was 0.5% indigenous Amazonian. Yeah. But I need to correct that because my father did a DNA test. I would advise everyone to be skeptical about doing those because you don't know where the data ends or where it's sold to. But anyway, um, where was I? Yes, the result came back. I can't remember. Was he 1% or 0.5%? I'm a Amazon, the Amazon jungle, and I would be half that. But it's actually I I thought that was very exciting, and I tried to look at how many generations back you had to go. Quite a lot of generations, but no, it's too little. It's too small a portion to be reliable. It's just a random result, so it could be anything. So no, probably not. I'm probably not. I don't have any DNA from the Amazon. So, well, it would be funny if it was. How did that happen? Yeah. Um, well, you never know, says Shining Noctowls. Yes, that's true. Viking longship going back there. Well, going there, I think actually you don't have to go 1,000 years back, um, but quite a few generations back. Just as a sidetrack here, did you know that inbreeding is quite common? Well, it's not defined as inbreeding, but if you go back, look at if you look at your ancestry, actually, you will find that one line goes up here and one goes up there, father, mother, right? And then you have several generations, and then it's not uncommon to have intermarriage up there. But then, you know, we're talking many generations, but that's so it's not inbreeding, but it's. I found that on my extensive ancestry chart, someone did research on that hundreds of years back. So, so that was a surprise. But then I thought, oh yeah, well, we're talking many generations here. So yeah. Um, yeah, Russian, yes, that's not so uncommon either. Um, and also lots of people in user 777. Yes, lots of people in Russia. have Scandinavian DNA. So, yeah. Yeah, well, Vinnemark, here's what I don't like. Two things. You're writing there. Well, I'm glad you've at least learned not to make large sweeping pro-Israel statements. Um, at least learned, you know, what the fuck? Are you talking about people here in general or me? At least learned? That's quite condescending. Mind your language, you know? It's disrespectful. Um, and I take it if you're talking about me, I've said I said starting this live stream that I'm quite uneducated on this topic. Um, you need to understand that when I say that, it implies that I want to learn more. You should do better than writing comments like that. Just makes you look silly. Um, Leon Wood says inbreeding was much more common in rural areas before the bicycle reached the populace. Yeah, well, um, I and here's another one. We keep it keeps going. At least he doesn't celebrate Hamas like a big portion of the world. Again, what the fuck? Are you guys for real? Can't you? I mean, this live stream is not for little kids. You need to behave like adults here. Okay. Just I'm trying to have a nuanced view on this. I said this is a horrible thing, and we have victims, innocent people being killed and maimed on both sides of the border. I said it many times, many times. So please don't come here and act like an idiot. Um, yeah, I'll ignore those people. I will. But sometimes we get comments like that that actually replying to them um, underlines important things here. So thank you, JP. Yes, Elia says it seems like you are done if you do and done if you don't. Here's the test. Here's the test. And many people will fail this test. You need to be able to look at the situation in the Middle East now and understand that those people, those civilians, children, kids, women, men, innocent people, they are victims. Israel has not been, I mean, it's none of the parts involved here have been in their right in everything that they've done. It's important to not take sides, actually. I've said many times Hamas needs to go. They need to be dealt with. But those are not the Palestinian people. Hamas is a terrorist organization. They want death and destruction. Now, some would say that could be said about the Israeli government as well. But I will say that the people, the Israelis, the Palestinians, are victims here. They are not to blame. And the test is that if you start taking sides and forget that we're talking about innocent people being victims of this horrible conflict, if you forget that, the test. And I'm not going to tolerate any pro Hamas, um, pro Israeli. Well, it's pro Israeli is, you know, how should I put it? It's well, that can mean many things, but I think you understand what I mean. Pro what they're doing and what they've been doing. It's difficult to find the right words. You know what I mean. I mean, apply some common sense here. It's not difficult, you know. And I don't have the answers, but I know that taking sides will not solve the situation. Well, actually, it could. And I said yesterday that the fastest solution to this, which is not a fair solution, but it might be the fastest solution, is that Israel occupies all of Palestine and they stay there and they keep everything in check with force. That would probably be the fastest way to end the violence. It would not be peace, but it would end the violence, probably. Might be wrong there. I'm not an expert on this. So, no, they don't already do. There are parts that they haven't occupied, Kahina. I'm talking about they take everything. Okay, soldiers on every street corner. Um, it would be a horrible thing, but it would end the violence that we have now. So, um, okay. And you know what? I'm actually not so interested in the history behind this. Well, I am interested in history, but I'm not so interested in looking at the history right now concerning that conflict, because you can do that until you till the end of days. Oh, thank you, Jen. No problem. um, yeah, well, I think we all understand that Iran is behind Hamas and Iran is waging war on Israel through Hamas and all that. So, yeah. Uh, and here we're going back in history again. Yeah. But okay. It's like I know people from Israel, I know people from Iran. I don't think I know anyone from Palestine. Um, but I would be very interested in having a chat with someone from that area. Maybe someone who has lived there recently, and to learn what it's like. Um, that would be very educational for me. Um, so yeah, I yeah, well, yeah, the Bible talk again. Should I start quoting The Edda. Should I do that? Because it has predicted quite a lot of things. Should I do that? I know what happens when I do that. Certain people who call themselves Christians and Muslims and Jews, they don't like that so much, do they? But that's a different topic. Yeah. So, yeah, Jakob, good point there. Let's put religion aside. Yeah. Um, it's like, I mean, Christianity and Islam goes together like oil and water or something like that, you know. Yeah, yeah, there are Bible pushers. Yeah, you know, the Bible is a great book. I have the Bible, I have the Quran, and I think those are books that belong in any private library with the other mythological texts. It's quite essential reading, I would say. So Greenpeace says books are for nerds. Are you joking? Um, Now, Cherokee Twilight says the Bible is older and more accurate. No, the Bible is not very accurate. It's really not. That's a wishful thinking thing that comes from mainly the USA, and it's been debunked and debunked and debunked. It's a mythological text, should be treated as such. It's not very accurate. Um, yeah, we could use the Epic of Gilgamesh. I have it here. Where is it now? Ah, my neck is so stiff and sore. Well, I can't find it now. Yeah. Well, actually, that's where you should start your reading. To read Gilgamesh, uh, and it's funny that when you start reading the very ancient texts and you move forward and forward and forward, you will see how much other texts are influenced by those older texts, and you can trace where the inspiration and the ideas come from, and that will go hand in hand with world history and the cultures and how people moved, migrations and things like that. It's very fascinating. And you will stop saying things like the Bible is a historical text. You will stop saying things like the Bible is the truth, and all that, because you will get the context. Okay. So, and my thoughts on the Bible. Yeah, I find the Bible less interesting than other religious texts, actually. And because the reason mainly is that it's a mishmash, is that if that's the right word, of other things that comes mainly from other belief systems and myths. Um, and That's not a controversial thing to say. It's very obvious when you look at it, you know. Mm. Yeah, well, Kahina, let's just finish with this question here. I won't be able to answer it, but that's part of the excitement of it, I think. Kahina Lawrence says, "This I wonder, Bjorn, because I agree with you." Well, thank you. But what do you think of the historicity of the war between the Æsir and the Vanir. Yeah, so the Æsir and the Vanir are two tribes or peoples that together through a what's the word, truce, they made peace, and in the pantheon, the Norse pantheon, you have some of the gods being Vanir and some being Æsir. It's more complex than that because you also have some Jotuns that are, well, let's keep those aside now. But some people, well, who are researching this and looking into the old stuff, archaeology and cultures, migrations, believe that the Æsir and the Vanir and the war and the truce is when you make peace, right? I hope that's the right word. That it reflects something that happened a long time ago. Nobody knows how far back we have to go. If you look further into it, you will know that, for instance, the deity Tyr, the one who got his hand bitten off, he's a very ancient god, older than the Viking Age. He's pre-Viking Age, and it is we're moving into the mists of time. Is that what you call it? So a long time ago. But very often these myths reflect something that happened. And just as the Bible is not a historical text, a lot of the myths there, they reflect historical events. And the same goes for other mythological texts, like what we're talking about here, the belief system of the Norse. And yeah, so I don't know. Nobody knows, but there are people looking into it and trying to not find the truth, because that's not how you should work, but try to get a better understanding of that. Yeah, okay. Hope that answered your question. Oh, Chungus Khan is asking, what are your thoughts of royalties, Swedish, Danish, Norwegian, English, being descendants of Odin, Frey, and their alleged burial at Uppsala? Well, there was one bloodline in Norway that I know of who claimed to be, I can't remember which one now, but they claimed to be direct descendants of Frey or Freyr, not Freya, but her brother Frey, the one with fertility thing. Yeah. So that bloodline, they royal bloodline, they claimed to have the right to royalty because of that and all of that. But if you're talking about the royals now, you know what I think about them. I don't like them. They are parasites, and they're not Norse. They're just, well, actually, I don't know. I don't care. I just know that they are bleeding the state for taxpayers' money. No, not most of them, Kaina. Not most of them. That was one bloodline. One bloodline. I can't say yes to any of the suggestions because I would have to look into it, and I can't remember which bloodline right now. I can't remember everything at all times. Okay. I am pretty sure that King Gustav of Sweden has no lineage to Odin. No, I am pretty sure of that. I've never heard that before. Yeah. Okay, the Bible was inspired by a higher power. It's okay to believe that. It's okay. But that's just a belief, not a fact. Now, okay. I'm going to end the live stream now. And we should all reflect on the concept of truth. It's a big word. Should be used only on for special occasions, right? Okay. Have a nice evening or day, whatever it is.